Good afternoon, everybody. It's time for the Stone and Wood Update Show here at the Rip Curl Pro Bells Beach, presented by Bonsoy. A tough moment for Ethan Ewing. Stairs that have been good to him in the past are walking him all the way up to the top and sending him to Margaret River because George Pittar went to town in their rematch from a couple of years ago. George lost in a close decision at Winky Pop. The internet exploded in George's favor. He calmed him down, said, no, Ethan got me. It was mature in his response, and he knew he'd have another shot to get it done on the bowl. Messy bowl, but it was a big win over one of the favorites to win the contest. Everyone's still trying to digest what just happened. Thanks for being with us on the Stone and Wood Update Show. Once again, we're on hold till 5 p.m. to see if we can get a couple more heats done with this high tide. Joe Chappelle, Flick Palmatier, and Richie Lovett. Richie, you're from Manly. Did you see that coming in that last heat?
In a way, I actually did see it coming, but I mean, up against Ethan, one of the most favoured surfers to win the event. You know, he's that good, and I'm sure people are just scratching their head, you know, looking at their fantasy team now, just going, what, hang on, everything's going wrong. I don't like it. But, you know, my phone's blowing up. The text thread that I have with all the local crew at Northstein is, you know, they're celebrating because that was a huge win for them, and I guess it's 1-1 now to those guys. So, yeah, looking forward to the next matchup with
Flick,
the boys.
That's the way you come back to the tour. You know, kind of being sent to the minor leagues in a way can be devastating for your confidence, and some people never return. But for him, statement type performance on his comeback.
Totally. That was probably the hardest you could have in the draw for sure. Drawing Ethan, his surfing is undeniable out at the bowl. Last year he put on one of the best performances we've ever seen, dropping those couple of nines, and this is going to sting for Ethan. I mean, who would have thought? Who would have thunk it that, you know, he's going to come here and get knocked in that opening round, and that's going to take a lot to digest. That's not going to be an easy pill to swallow.
Things got interesting as we had more legends return, and it didn't look easy at this part of the day. It was really lumpy and bumpy, and we saw a big battle with Carissa Moore taking on Sawyer Lindblad. Everyone's celebrating the legacy of Carissa's return, but Sawyer had a sharp game plan that she worked out with Glenn Micro Hall and actually started off with a 6, applied the lead early.
Yeah, and it was a good strategy, and I'm sure Micro was going, okay, let's build the pressure on Carissa. She's been out of the game for a little while, and that's exactly what happened. And good surfing from Sawyer Lindblad on the backhand, but mate, all class. Carissa Moore just stepping back into the jersey, inspired by a little baby and husband on the stairs, and what a performance. It was, as you said, a little bit scrappy, but overall, you know, the form of Carissa, you can see her just building that confidence again of having the jersey on, feeling those emotions around being in a heat situation, and that trademark, you know, textbook layback hack that she has just on lock. It hasn't gone anywhere. So a great victory for Carissa.
Oh, it looked fantastic. She was able to finally connect with 2 turns, then it only got better. And that was kind of a theme today. If you could pull yourself together at the halfway mark, we saw Miguel do it. Carissa did it with class. Still has a chance to hunt down maybe a 4th bell this year. But her best trophy in the world. Joined her on the steps.
Yeah, this is so cool. The world's been waiting for this moment. It's been a long time, you know, since we've seen a mum on the championship tour. The last would have been Lisa Anderson. So, you know, this is a really, really special moment for women all around the world and mums all around the world, and great representation, you know, for our sport, and, you know, for Tatiana and Joanne, you know, they're going to be coming back, and it's just, this is a really monumental moment, and really cool that she got the heat win.
Well, you think about those legends, those legacies, the world champs, the bells titles. When you take that much time off, you're the one with everything to lose. You know, you're the one that everyone's expecting brilliance out of every time you compete. As we think about what Steph Gilmore was going through, she's going, my lifelong rival just got through, now it's my turn. And man, that was a tough heat for the GOAT. On her return to the championship tour, she took on Luana Silva, last year's runner-up in the event. And in fact, the one that Lulu kind of filled the space for when Steph kept continuing her sabbatical, Lulu was able to get her spot on tour last year. This is a wild one, Rick.
Yeah, definitely mixed emotions there for Luana Silva. You know, I guess feeling thankful that she got the chance to be on the tour, but again, just had to just quieten the mind and reset the goal for this heat, and that was to take out the GOAT. 8 times World Champ Steph Gilmore, 4 times Bells winner. And she really just applied the pressure early with just some great foundation surfing. She picked the right waves, positioned her maneuvers in the right part of the wave, just looked really on point, you know, nothing too flashy. She knew that the waves were you know, a little bit substandard in the way they were breaking, but she just did enough, and that was enough to build pressure. And at times, you know, Steph almost looked a little disinterested, just in her body language, you know, just going, oh, this is kind of not going my way. So, you know, in contrast to how Carissa's feeling and getting that real cannon shot back onto the tour, Steph's kind of going, oh my gosh, you know, this is not how I planned this.
Oh, totally. I mean, major moment for Lulu. She should be super proud of that. You know, she got runner-up here last year to Isabella, so kind of like, to me, she's sort of clicked back into that mode of, you know, wave selection and just linking all the dots together. But yeah, she should be proud of that. But really interesting moment, considering that Steph's the reason she's back on, and then she's like, oh, well, I'll take that win off you. Thank you very much.
And I think we just got a taste of our format change. You know, big names will go down all season that you're not expecting, you know, and there's not that second chance. You can't ease into an event, and that includes our stars of the sport.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is a special one just because they're all coming back, and we had some of the greats of the sport coming back in as really low seeds as well. You know, normally Steph and Carissa would be way up on the ratings, and things would have worked out differently in the draw. But as it stands for Bells, you know, this is how the chips fell. And we can see George Pittar just coming up the stairwell there. So that may, as a competitor, when you get that win like that and you take a bit of time, you got all the time in the world to sign the autographs, and you just take that time walking up the stairs and you just feel that energy and take it all in.
Woo. Yeah, bro.
Yeah, George, well done, brother.
Good fish on the side. That thing just bowled.
Dude, how was the love on the inside? I was like, what is this wave? I've never seen something like this in my life out here.
It was three turns inside. And then did well to back it up. Again.
Yeah, I was like, I need to get rid of this 5 ASAP.
Yeah, you looked a little stressed, but like you did it and you pushed the leg.
But like, bro, every wave looks that shit out there. I was like, I need to just look at everything. I need something. It was like, I got a 5 on that first wave. I was like, fuck, that wasn't a wave. That was pretty sick. Was it?
Yeah. It's alright.
Let's go, bro.
Yeah,
George Pittar is going to get a lot of high fives for a performance like that. Those are the ones that make you on this tour. When you're put against the best and you show up in a big way. Said he got to take a look at everything, because they weren't very obvious out there, the gems to be on, but it seemed like he got on a roll. Man, he just would drop in and the thing would kept reloading, and you know, props to him for reading the ocean when it's that difficult.
It's funny, right? Like, he's pretty honest. Like, you heard him, you know, debriefing there, and he's like, oh, you know, every wave was looking pretty hard. And, you know, there still is those better waves out there, and he still had a good read on it. You know, it doesn't matter how, you know, challenging those conditions may be, there always is going to be those, you know, better scoring rides out there.
Yeah, we might need to introduce the censor button when we listen in at the coaches' discussions on the stairs. But obviously there's a lot of emotion flying around after the heat, but you know, it's a big one. Yeah, he would have looked at that draw and gone, wow, man, this is a hard one. If I can get through this, maybe there's a chance.
Time for the GWM catch-up. A lot of big things went down today. A ton of drama on the bowl here at Bells. As we go back to how things started, feels like another day. This was bright and early this morning. One of the greats at Bells, a 2-time Bells champ, one of the longest serving members of the championship tour. Sally Fitzgibbons found a 717 to eliminate rookie Yolanda Hopkins.
Yeah, this was the first heat, the first cab off the rank, and you know, almost that like guinea pig heat. It's hard to see where this one was going to go, and then next up we had the phenom everyone's been talking about.
Youngest ever qualify, so much already with expectations on what Tia's going to do, and she had a nice little combo here, but it was really about the California goofy foot, Alyssa Spencer, having some brilliant rides in this one, Rick.
She really did, and this final ride here on the backhand, 2 hammer turns, and picked the best wave of the heat. and just stuck to her guns and put her brand of surfing on show.
She's got Caroline Marks in the next round. Then we saw some rookie success from Kika Veselko, winning her first championship tour heat in her rookie season. And now she'll have to deal with Gabby Bryan, but this was a big one because she got past Brisa Hennessy.
Yeah, this was a tough heat, and you know, she said to it, she spoke to it that you know, there's similarities to Erostarbe, and she showed us that.
Also, the backhand of Nadia Erostarbe, she was thrilled to get this one over Bella Kenworthy, Rick.
Yeah, another tougher heat here, and well, Nadia on the backhand again. You know, who would have thought the backhanders today would have done so well? And they really had a good read on this wave, and just picked those little moments to get that backhand whip on show, and they did it great.
Nadia Erostarbe thrilled to get through that one, and now she'll face Katie Simmers in the next round, and she's really excited to compare to a world champ and also a past Bells champ as well. Well, we're still settling in from that big news, a big upset that just went down on the bowl. George Pittar's finally made it up the stairs, and he's with Kaipo.
Yeah, thank you, George. George, I mean, first having to requalification, and then having some time after that requalification to really digest the draw and who you were going to come up against. Certainly one of the favorites in this comp, Ethan Ewing. You just did it. How are you feeling right now coming out of that heat?
Yeah, they dropped the draw like, I don't know, like 3 weeks ago or something, so I had about 3 weeks to just look at my first matchup. Yeah, I don't know, Ethan's my favorite surfer, and especially out here, he's so unbelievable, so I knew it was going to be a pretty big mountain to climb, but yeah, it feels pretty good standing here right now, to be honest. It was super hard out there. It was like whether or not it was going to get called off or anything, and then, I don't know, Timmy, my coach, Timmy Mack, was just like, well, let's just treat it like you're on, and you get what you get, and yeah, I don't know, I'm stoked.
Board looks great. What are you riding?
I'm riding a Goldie, actually. It's normally a step-up model for CI, like a tube board, but I did a couple of tweaks to it, and yeah, I've been riding it as like a step-up for turns in pretty much anything that looks like that and above, and yeah, it's been going sick. Trust it, for sure.
Talking about the brackets, when you know what's coming up next. Your next match up against Miguel Pupo. Your thoughts on that matchup?
Yeah, Miggy's a vet, man. He just, I don't know, you can never underestimate Miggy. He just gets on the good waves and he puts good scores on you, and it's always a tough matchup against those older guys, and a lot of respect for him, so it'll be fun.
Congratulations, great win.
Thank you, cheers.
Thank you, Kaipo. Thank you, George, for putting on a great show. The rematch that we were hoping for came true, and he'll be moving on into round 3 on his comeback to the championship tour. He's got a lot that he wants to prove to himself this year, and I think if he channels that kind of nothing to lose status that he had as a wild card when he made finals day at Margaret River, when he's pushing the world's best before he had the full-time spot on tour, I think he's gonna see his surfing freed up, and he'll make more podiums.
Oh, I think when you have such a big heat win in your opening round, I think that speaks volumes for your confidence, right? And you kind of just continue with that momentum. I said it before, but Ethan would have been the pick of the draw, the hardest heat you could have possibly drawn. So I think this is just going to do great things for George.
Yeah, absolutely. I just feel like it's a validation moment as well for George, you know, having dropped off the tour, done a bunch of work, done a lot of training, and I guess internal work on his mind and his psyche, because it was a big deflator, you know, when he dropped off. So he's come back, and things are kind of happening in a positive way. Today's win is certainly going to, you know, really instill some more confidence in him as he goes through this event.
Well, we are on hold. We are not leaving the beach yet. Our next call will be at 5:15 p.m. local time for a potential 5:30 start. So tune in to WorldSurfLeague.com. Jordy Smith, Luke Thompson will be on deck if we get things underway again. We'll see you at 5:15 for the next call.